Live from Rapid City, Post 22 Baseball is on the air. Tonight is a matchup we never really saw coming to kick off the Veterans Classic for the Post 22 Hardhats. It features the Hardhats against the junior varsity Post 22 Expos. With that being said, we say good evening and welcome you inside our press box here from Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium. Mark Benetti alongside you on Rudy's Corner here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. You heard it right, folks. The Post 22 Hardhats are taking on the Post 22 Expos in an intra-squad showdown in Game 1 of the Veterans Classic. Earlier today, the Veterans Classic officially began. The Expos kicked off the whole tournament and fell to the NOCO Roughnecks by an 8-2 score. The Roughnecks ended up sweeping their doubleheader today, taking a 15-13 win over Taconite, Minnesota in the 4 p.m. game. So the Hardhats and the Expos are the nightcap tonight. And my goodness, what a scene we have here, because not only is it blazing hot, just under 100 degrees with a beaming sun and clear skies, but the Hardhats and the Expos are going to go head to head. Post 22 Hardhats come in with a 22-4 record in 27 games. The Expos come in with a 16-8 record in 25 games of competition. Earlier today, the decision was made, or I should say earlier last night, the decision was made for both of these teams to play with Excelsior Minnetonka pulling out of the tournament. So this just makes one heck of an experience for everyone. Let's go ahead and give you both lineups and set the table for what is going to be a fantastic matchup of the Hardhats organization. Leading off for the Expos is number 20, Bridger Nesbitt. He is patrolling center field. Batting second is number 12, Colton Hartford. He's at the shortstop position. Batting third is number 13, Blake Weaver, the younger brother of Alex Weaver. He's patrolling right field, and in the cleanup position is number 27, Dave Julius, and he is patrolling left field. Batting fifth is number 30, the former Hardhat, Jake Goebel, out at first base. Batting sixth is number 11, Tyson Elliott, playing at second base. Batting seventh is number 26, Thomas McGuire, the backstopper and catcher. Batting eighth for the Expos is number 21, Braden Burris. He's patrolling the hot corner at third base. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot for the Expos is number 15, Jeremy Weedman, and he is the designated hitter. On the mound for the Expos tonight is number 17, Daniel Vagorin. And Vagorin comes in for his sixth start of the season with the Expos. That marks up all of his appearances. He has a perfect 3-0 record under his belt with 19 1/3 innings of work completed. A 3.26 ERA with 7 strikeouts to 12 walks. And he will take on the Hardhats as they follow in the bottom halves of our 7 innings, Game 1 of the tournament. Following the United States National Anthem. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Just finished the performance of the United States National Anthem, and now we will give you the Hardhats batting order, which will come up in the bottom halves of our 7 innings of regulation tonight. Leading off for the Hardhats is number 13, Connor King. He's patrolling center field. Batting second is number 21, Matt Hegry. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman, out at the shortstop position. And in the cleanup spot is number 23, Jack Sorensen, playing out at first base. Batting fifth for the Hardhats is number 30, Jace Caldwell, serving as the designated hitter for tonight's showdown. Batting sixth is number 15, Zach Sumption, and he's patrolling right field. Batting seventh is number 18, Alex Weaver, patrolling left field. Batting eighth is number 25, Ryan Schmidt, the backstopper and catcher. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot for the Hardhats is number 12, Mason Messenger, and he is out at second base. On the mound for the Hardhats is number 16, Tad Sherbinsky, who comes in for just his second start of the season and his 8th appearance overall. A perfect 3-0 record and 1-for-1 in save opportunities and 19 1/3 innings of work under his belt. A 2.90 ERA with 17 strikeouts to 7 walks and 1 hit batsman as well on the season. Tad Sherbinsky, the last time that he came out was against Spearfish on Tuesday night, just 2 nights ago. Only pitched an inning. He struck out all 3 that he faced, and that was in the final inning of the game to give the Hardhats what was a 23-2 win. The Hardhats have come together. They've knocked their Hardhats on the pitcher's mound, and it looks like we are ready to rock and roll with Tad Sherbinsky throwing to Bridger Nesbitt, Colton Hartford, and Blake Weaver. Bridger Nesbitt steps in for the Expos. And Tad Sherbinsky's first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. We are underway at 6:58, 2 minutes early. 1-0 the count here to Nesbitt. Nesbitt batting .282 on the season with the Expos, and he looks at ball 2, so he has a 2-0 start. Tad Sherbinsky on the mound in the start, throws the 2-0 to Nesbitt, and the pitch is fouled off first base side. And it's 2 balls and a strike now to the Expos center fielder. No one saw this matchup coming, folks, and it is so awesome that both of these programs get to go head-to-head tonight. 2-1 pitch. Called strike inside, right at the belt level, and it's 2-2. We'll get to some of the more interesting matchups between both of these teams in a few moments, because there's a lot of rivalry on both sides. 2-2 from Sherbinsky is upstairs for ball 3. That's going to push the count full to Nesbitt. We just started the ball game not even a minute ago here at the Fitz. Game 1 of the Veterans Classic for the Hardhats. Payoff pitch from Sherbinsky is low and away for ball 4. And Nesbitt starts off with a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Colton Hartford, the shortstop. As I was mentioning earlier, talking about some of the matchups between both of these teams, Alex and Blake Weaver are brothers. Alex plays left field for the Hardhats. Blake plays right field for the Expos. Colton Sherbinsky is one of the coaches for the Expos. His brother Tad is on the mound right now for the Hardhats. And Coach Paul Poole coached against the Hardhats for the last 6 years as the head coach at Post 320. And now he's reliving that rivalry once again. Sherbinsky deals a first pitch ball to Hartford. 1-0 the count as the Expos have the leadoff man on by virtue of a walk. Here in the top of the first, and we're still scoreless. Ball and no strikes the count to Hartford. And the pitch, called strike. Outside corner, it's 1-1. Hartford comes into this matchup with a .444 batting average for the Expos. 24 for 54 on the year, 21 singles, 2 doubles, and a triple. Ball and a strike the count. Sherbinsky pickoff to first, not there in time. And back safely is Nesbitt. Nesbitt, the only man on the base path with no one out here in the top of the first. Scoreless between the Expos and the Hardhats. You heard that right, folks. Ball and a strike. Sherbinsky from the stretch. Deals. Pitch is swung out of the ball. Is pushed into right field. It's dropping for a base hit. Here comes Sumption into field, and he will rocket that one over to Cooper Bowman. Colton Hartford gets the first hit of the ball game and advances Bridger Nesbitt to scoring position at second. That's going to bring up Blake Weaver with men on first and second and no one out here in the top of the first. So here comes Blake Weaver. Sherbinsky's first pitch. Swung on. Ball's pushed high in the air to Zach Sumption. He is underneath it. He makes the catch. And no one will advance from their respective bases. So an L9 in the book to register the first out of the ball game. Still men on first and second for the Expos, and that'll bring up Dave Julius. Julius comes into this matchup, .345 batting average as an Expo. 19 for 55 on the year, a pair of doubles, 15 ribbies. One out, men on first and second for him. And Trubinsky's first pitch is swung on and missed. 0-1. Jake Goebel is on deck if the double play does not end the top half of this inning. Men on first and second. Here comes the 0-1 to Julius. And that missed low and away, and they kind of leave it up at 1-1. Post 22 taking on the Expos in Game 1 of the Veterans Classic. The Expos lost earlier to the NoCo Roughnecks 8-2. Post 22 seeing its first action. Trubinsky throws a nice off-speed pitch right over the heart of the plate for strike 2. 1-2 now the count here to Julius with an out and men on first and second for the Expos here in the top of the first. Trubinsky looking for that first strikeout. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, ball's hit right up the middle. Messenger, the stop at second. Toss to Bowman for one. Throw to first is in time for number 2, and that'll end it. A 4-6-3 double play turned by Messenger and Bowman, and that'll end the top half of the first inning. No runs on a hit with no errors and a man left on. We've played half an inning of intra-squad baseball, and the Expos and the Hardhats are still in a scoreless duel. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the Hardhats' first at-bats of the ball game here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Well, the Hardhats will now transition from defense to offense and take their first swings of the ball game with Connor King, Matt Heggery, and Cooper Bowman slated to bat against the Expos. And I know exactly what you're thinking, folks. I still can't believe it either, but how special is this that both of these teams get to come head-to-head against each other in some intra-squad rivalry action. Daniel Vigorin and his left arm on the mound are throwing warm-up pitches. Vigorin comes in for his 6th appearance of the season, all of them by virtue of a start. He has a perfect 3-0 record with 19 1/3 innings of work under his belt. A 3.26 ERA with 7 strikeouts to 12 walks and a hit batsman for him on the season. The Expos defensive alignment sees Vigorin and that left arm on the mound paired up with Thomas McGuire behind home plate. At first is Jake Goebel, the former Hardhat. At second, also a former Hardhat, Tyson Elliott. At shortstop is Colton Hartford. And in the hot corner at third is Braden Burris. Left to right in the outfield, Dave Julius, Bridger Nesbitt, and Blake Weaver. So here comes Connor King to lead off for the Hardhats. Connor King comes in with a .329 batting average and is the only lefty in the lineup for the Hardhats. Post 22 held the Expos to only a hit, ended the inning on a 4-6-3 double play. And it looks like we are ready to get the bottom half of the first underway as McGuire and our home plate umpire shake hands. Full windup for the lefty. Vigorin's first pitch misses low for ball 1 to King. Coach Torvey was telling me about this Expos team whom he had a lot of on the Bullets last year, and he spoke very highly of Vigorin as his 1-0 pitch is hit high in the air to left field. On the run, back towards the warning track to make the catch is Dave Julius for out number 1. Going back to Vigorin, he talked very highly of him and actually mentioned even in our second episode of the Hardhat Hour, which should have aired on ESPN Rapid City tonight, that Vigorin was one of the key pieces to how the Bullets took 2 out of 3 against the Expos last year. On the mound, he was just fantastic and threw a gem. Here comes Matt Hegre, and his first pitch from Vagorin is a called strike inside. It's 0-1 to the Hardhats' third baseman. Matt Hegre batting .282 coming into this matchup. 7 doubles on the season and 2 dingers. Next pitch is a breaking ball that misses low. 1-1. Hardhats have an empty base path for Hegre with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Vagorin. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Now to Matt Hegre. Ball and 2 strikes the count. And Vagorin looking for that first K, deals the 1-2, and it's upstairs. 2-2. Full windup for the lefty, 2-2 to Hegre. Is high and away, and the count goes full on the fastball. Big payoff pitch here, the first full count for, or excuse me, second full count for both pitchers. Tad Trubinsky had the first one on Nesbitt, who led off to start the ballgame. Here comes the payoff, and that's upstairs for ball 4, and Matt Hegre draws a 1-out walk. That is going to bring up probably the most lethal batter in this arsenal for the Hardhats. Cooper Bowman batting .478, a team-leading 35 ribbies on a team-leading 37 runs scored, to a team-leading 43 hits, with a team-leading 10 doubles and a team-leading 4 home runs and a team-leading 6 triples. Vagorin looks at first, and first pitch to Bowman. Called strike. On the fastball, it's 0-1. No balls and a strike to count to Bowman. With Hegre on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The Expos and the Hardhats in an intra-squad showdown, still scoreless. 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball outside. 1-1 to Bowman. Cooper Bowman committed to play at the University of Hawaii next year. We got a chance to talk with him in episode 2 of the Hard Hat Hour. Very excited for what lies ahead in the future of his baseball career. Next pitch is upstairs, and it goes over the glove of McGuire, and taking second is Matt Hegre. So the wild pitch will advance him to second, and the count to Bowman goes to 2-1, and Coach Poole's going to come out and have a quick word with Vagorin. Coach Poole, one of the assistants on the varsity squad. He is the head coach of the Expos, and what a wealth of baseball knowledge he brings to the table. Coach Torvey and I had our first episode of the Hard Hat Hour taped, but it never aired on ESPN, and he said of his coaching staff, we broke down everybody in particular, and he said especially of Coach Poole, he's an educator. So not only can he teach people, but he can educate the game of baseball to these young, impressionable adults, and it makes for such a great mix when you can not only educate, but you know so much of the sport that you can then impart that knowledge. 2-1 pitch is a called strike to Bowman on a fastball down the middle, and now it's 2-2 to the Hard Hat shortstop. Matt Hegre moved to second on a wild pitch. He is in scoring position with 1 out here in a scoreless bottom of the first. Vagorin looking for that first K. 2-2 to Bowman. Breaking ball missed outside by a hair, and the count goes full. A big 3-2 coming from Vagorin here. It'll be back-to-back walks if it's ball 4. Payoff pitch, low and away, ball 4, and there are back-to-back walks. With 1 out. Men on first and second. That'll bring us to the DH, Jack Sorensen. Sorensen, a .353 batter coming into this matchup. And with runners in scoring positions, batting .343. Just about equal. Vagorin takes a look around the diamond. First pitch to Sorensen, swung on, and it's punched into right field through the hole for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Matt Hegre, and on his way to third, Cooper Bowman. An RBI single for Jack Sorensen. Now the Hardhats strike first in this intra-squad showdown against the Expos, and they have a 1-0 lead with men on the corners and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That looked like it went off the bat, the end of the bat. He pushed it towards the right side, and it went right in between second and first, just bled into right field, and it was so slow that Hegre had enough time to round third, come home, and then Bowman had an extra chance to take 2 bases. Jace Caldwell, he looks at ball 1 inside, 1-0 his count. Caldwell batting .414 on the season, and the next pitch hits him, and that'll load the bases. Every base occupied, and that's going to bring up Zach Sumption. Sumption with a .293 batting average. Great to see him starting to swing the lumber much better. Batting .297 with runners in scoring position, so this could be a big moment for him. Every base occupied, one out, and the Hardhats have a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Sumption's first pitch hit high in the air to shallow left. Coming in from left is Julius, and he's going to give way to the shortstop in Hartford. He catches it, and tagging up and going home is Cooper Bowman. Sac fly RBI for Zach Sumption. And the Hardhats now have a 2-0 lead, with men on first and second and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Alex Weaver comes to the plate, the older brother of Blake Weaver, the Expos right fielder. All fun in the family, right? First pitch from Vigorin, a called strike at his belt. 0-1. Weaver on the season is batting .286. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball outside. Count evens at 1-1. If Weaver's retired, Goebel, Elliott, McGuire are due up for the Expos in the top of the second. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Pitch is swung on, line to shortstop, just out of the reach of Hartford and into left. One run's going to come and score. Caldwell round second. He is to third, and Weaver will hang on with a 2-out RBI single. And the Hardhats now have a 3-0 lead over the Expos with men on the corners and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Hartford did everything he could. He threw himself and the kitchen sink at that ball. And my goodness, was he about an inch away. Weaver's going to take second. Throw gets there, and it's cut off just in case Caldwell decided to take home. And so now Weaver is on second with the stolen base. Men on second and third now. And there's a strike to Ryan Schmidt. 1-1 now his count. Schmidt in this matchup comes in with a .344 average, and his 1-1 pitch is swung on, and it's chopped to third. Stops made on the play by Burris. His throw to first is off track, and it goes all the way into right field. Schmidt's going to round first and take second, and every base is going to come home to score. 2 runs in for the Hardhats on a crucial E5, and the lead is now 5-0 with 2 outs and a man on second here in the bottom of the first. So 5-0 now. The Hardhats have the lead. And Messenger comes up. The Hardhats have batted through the order. And the first pitch that he sees is ball 1. Messenger batting in the 9-hole, hitting .267 on the season. Here's his 1-0. That's upstairs and off the glove of McGuire, and taking third is Schmidt. Pass ball puts him in scoring position, 2-0 to Messenger. Puts him even further in scoring position, I should say. He was already on second. Man on third now for the Hardhats with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. 5-0 is the Hardhats lead. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Called strike at the knees of Messenger, and it's 2-1 from Vigorin. Vigorin working on his 28th pitch of the inning. Full windup for the lefty, 2-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. And it's 2-2. Goebel, Elliott, McGuire due up in the top of the second if Vigorin can get Messenger out here. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. High and away, and the count goes full. And now here is the payoff pitch to Messenger. And Vigorin deals high and away, ball 4. So there's a 2-out walk to put Messenger on and bring us back to the top of the lineup to Connor King with men on the corners. And 2 outs. King already retired once. He flew out to left. Well hit ball he pushed opposite field. Men 90 feet to his right and left. First pitch. Called strike. Fastball inside corner. It's 0-1. Messenger on first. Schmidt on third. 5-0 the Hardhats lead here in the bottom of the first. And Vigorin steps off the rubber, and everyone will retreat to their bases. First and third, 2 outs. Hardhats with 5 runs on 2 hits and an error charge to the Expos. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball hit him, and that'll load the bases. Messenger moves over to second. And now Matt Heggery has every base occupied with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. He walked and came around to score the first run of the ball game earlier in this inning. This is his second crack against Vigorin. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Vigorin full windup. Next pitch. Called strike, outside corner. Nice fastball from Vigorin. It's 0-2. Second time that the Hardhats are down to their last strike in the inning. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to right center field. Charging from center is Nesbitt. And the ball goes over his head and it goes all the way to the warning track. Everybody's going to come around and score, and Heggery will stop on second. A bases clearing RBI double, and the Hardhats lead is now 8-0 with a man on second and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. 3-run RBI triple for Matt Heggery, and everyone comes around to score. And now back to Cooper Bowman we go. Bowman also drew a walk, came around to score. Hardhats with 8 runs on 3 hits and an error charge to the Expos in this frame. First pitch. Bowman swings at it, and it's fouled. Chopped down the third base side towards the dugout, 0-1. If Bowman's retired, Goebel, Elliott, and McGuire await. For the Expos, back to the sticks in the top of the second. 0-1 pitch, low and inside, and it skips right by McGuire. And advancing to third is Heggery. Ball and a strike to count to Bowman, with Heggery standing 90 feet to his left now. Full windup for Vigorin. Here's a 1-1. Called strike. Fastball at the knees of Bowman. It's 1-2. And here is the 1-2 to Bowman. Missed low, and the count evens up. 2-2. Matt Heggery to the left of Bowman by 90 feet. 2 outs. Bottom of the first, and 8-0 Hardhats lead. 2-2 pitch. Missed outside, ball 3. That was close. Count goes full. And Vigorin's payoff pitch to Bowman. Swung on and just fought off foul. And the count will hold full. Three balls, 2 strikes. Payoff pitch number 2 comes from Vigorin. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Bowman not happy with himself there. That's Vigorin's first K, and that will end the bottom half of the first. The Hardhats, 8 runs on 3 hits with an error charge to the Expos, and a man left 90 feet from scoring. We've played 1 inning of intra-squad baseball, and the Hardhats have an 8-0 lead over the Rapid City Post 22 Expos. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the second, and Jake Goebel to lead off for the Expos here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22, an 8 spot in the bottom of the first. They are in command. 8-0 lead over the Rapid City Post 22 Expos. Tad Sherbinski back on the mound. His first pitch to Jake Goebel is a swing and a miss. 0-1. Goebel batting 1,000 with the Hardhats, 1 for 1. And his 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. He's behind 0-2. Goebel with the Expos, however, batting .229 on the season. Here is the 0-2 from Sherbinski, and that's upstairs, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Goebel, the first baseman. Elliott, the second baseman. McGuire, the catcher, scheduled to hit here in the top of the second. Hardhats up 8-0. 1-2 pitch, swung on, ball's chopped to short. Bowman gets it on the high hop. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense. Now brings us to the second baseman, Tyson Elliott. Elliott also spent a few games with the Hardhats at this level. He went 0 for 1 in 3 plate appearances. Did not register a hit at the varsity side of things. He looks at ball 1 low, 1-0 his count. Elliott, however, batting .348 as an Expo, so he has seen some success at this level. And looks at ball 2 just above his letters. It's 2-0. Base path is empty for Elliott with 1 out here in the top of the second. 8-0 the Hardhats lead. 2-0 pitch, a called strike on a fastball. Outside corner, low and away. It's 2-1. Full windup for Sherbinski. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's pumped foul. First base side and out of play. And the count evens up 2-2. Sherbinski still looking for that first strikeout of this start. Here comes his 2-2 pitch. Swung on and the ball's lined in the air to center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Tyson Elliott with a 1-out single. Connor King fields it, brings it to the infield, and that'll bring up Thomas McGuire, the catcher. McGuire batting .281 on the year with the Expos. 9 for 32. Sherbinski looks over to first, and the first pitch. Swung on, and it's fouled to the meshing behind home plate. 0-1. No balls at a strike, the count to McGuire, with Elliott taking his lead off of first. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's fouled. And now the count goes to 0-2 for McGuire. Hardhats have an 8-0 lead with a man on first and 1 out here for the Expos in the top of the second. Elliott singled to get their second hit and their third base runner of the ballgame. Sherbinski still looking for that elusive first K. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to shallow right. Sumption's coming, as is Messenger. Messenger underneath it, can't make the catch. Ball's dropped. Sumption an easy throw to second, and he will get the out. That's Elliott going to second, so it'll be the second out as the ball was dropped. Messenger, a very, very tough play. They're going to rule that an E4. So McGuire on with 2 outs. That brings us to Braden Burris, the third baseman. First pitch. Called strike. Right at his belt. 0-1. Braden Burris batting .296 with the Expos. Has a man on first, 2 outs here in the top of the second. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-2. Nice pitch selection there from Sherbinski going off speed. He looks over to first. No balls, 2 strikes. Deals to Burris. Swung on, and it's check swung, half swung foul. And the count will hold at 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Missed just low. 1-2. If Burris is retired, the Hardhats will go to the meat of the order. Sorensen, Caldwell, and Sumption scheduled to hit in the bottom half of this inning. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, balls hit to short. Stops made on the play. Tossed to second. The Messenger's in time. And that's going to end it on the 6-4 fielder's choice. No runs on a hit with an error charge to the Hardhats. Man left on the base path. We have played an inning and a half of 7 tonight. And the Hardhats still have the lead over the Expos at 8-0. I almost said Post 22 has the lead 8-0, but then the question would have followed up as which Post 22. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the bottom of the second. The Hardhats will have Jack Sorensen lead off here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. The evening of Daniel Vigorin has come to an end. And former Hardhat catcher Colton Tipton is now going to take the mound for the Post 22 Expos. Tipton comes into this matchup on the mound in his second appearance. But Game Changer's telling me that he doesn't have an inning pitched. Must be something with the statistics with Game Changer on that. He's played a game. It was in relief. He didn't pitch. He let up 2 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. He walked 2, didn't strike out anyone. And Colton Tipton will now be tasked with facing his former teammates in Jack Sorensen, Jace Caldwell, and Zach Sumption in that order. Mark Panetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. And as always, we're streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Through an inning and a half, the Hardhats have 8 runs on 3 hits and an error, and the Expos have no runs, a pair of hits, also 1 blemish in the field. Tipton, the righty, takes over for Vigorin. First pitch to Sorensen. Ball's hit high in the air to shallow right. Underneath it is Blake Weaver, and he makes the catch for out number 1. I almost said Blake Wheeler for a second. That would be the captain of the Winnipeg Jets in the NHL, but that wouldn't make any sense for what we've got going on here. 1 down, and that'll bring up Jace Caldwell, the designated hitter. Caldwell took a 1-0 pitch and wore it on his back. And his first pitch from Tipton is a breaking ball called strike. What a curveball that was. 0-1 to Caldwell. No balls and a strike. Tipton deals. Another breaking ball called strike. My goodness, what a pitch. 0-2. Colton Tipton showcasing his breaking pitches. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball's chopped to short. Stops made by Hartford, and the throw to first is in time for out number 2. 6-3 in the book. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats. Now brings us to the right fielder, Zach Sumption, who had a sac fly RBI earlier in the ballgame. First pitch to Sumption. Misses low and away on a fastball. 1-0 from Tipton. Ball and no strikes the count. And Tipton deals to Sumption. Misses low and away. 2-0. If Sumption's retired, 9-1 and 2 are due up for the Expos, starting off with Jeremy Weedman, the DH. 2-0 pitch misses outside to Sumption. It's 3-0. Otherwise, Alex Weaver's on deck. 3-0 pitch. Called strike. Fastball inside. It's 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch. Caught him. No, excuse me. That's strike 2. And now here comes the payoff pitch to Zach Sumption. Tipton's 3-2. Too far inside, ball 4. So it's a 2-out walk issued to Sumption. That's going to bring up Alex Weaver. Weaver earlier in the ball game had an RBI single. And he came around to score. First pitch, called strike. 0-1. Hardhats taking on the Expos. It's a post-22 showcase. Tipton looks to first. 0-1 to Weaver. Way outside, ball and a strike. Two outs here in the bottom of the second. Hardhats up 8-0 on the Expos. Tipton again looks to first. 1-1. That's outside. 2-1. Two balls and a strike to Weaver, with Ryan Schmidt patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. 2-1. High and inside, 3-1. Three balls and a strike to count. And Tipton deals. Called strike. Outside corner. Nice frame job there by McGuire, and the count goes full. Here's the payoff to Weaver. Pitch is fouled. And the count will hold full. Payoff pitch number 2 coming to Alex Weaver. Tipton from the stretch. 3-2 pitch. High and inside, ball 4. And Weaver also draws a 2-out walk. That'll be men on first and second with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Hardhats with an 8-0 lead, and that'll bring up Ryan Schmidt, who reached on a 2-run error. It was a throwing error by the third baseman, and as a result, 2 runs came around, and he took second. First pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air, behind home plate, and it lands in the stands and takes a high bounce. 0-1 the count to Schmidt. No balls and a strike. Tipton deals. Breaking ball called strike right at his belt. It's 0-2. Four minutes shy of a half hour gone by in this ball game. Men on first and second here for Schmidt. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball's chopped to third. Stops made on the play by Braden Burris on the tag. And that will end it. So there were no runs for the Hardhats. There were no hits. No errors charged to the Expos. And there were 2 men left on base. We have played 2 innings of baseball. And Post 22 still has an 8-0 lead to protect as we go to the top of the third. We'll take a step aside, folks, and when we come back, Jeremy Weedman, the DH, will lead off for the Expos here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We have played 2 innings of baseball here at the Fitz, and Post 22 still is in command of an 8-0 lead over the Rapid City Post 22 Expos. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats: 8 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. And for the Expos, no runs, 2 hits, and an error. Thanks again so much for joining us tonight for this intra-squad showdown between the two clubs. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and as always, stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Tad Sherbinski back on the mound for inning number 3 of work. 31 pitches heading into his 3rd inning. And he will face Jeremy Weedman, the DH. Back to the top of the order we go to Bridger Nesbitt and Colton Hartford. Weedman steps in, a right-handed batter for the Expos. First pitch, a called strike. 0-1 to Weedman. Weedman on the season batting .213 for the Expos. Here is his 0-1 pitch. Just missed low and away, and the count will even up. 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, ball is hit into left field for a base hit. That ball was hit right in the hole between 3rd and short. And the leadoff man is on with a single, 3rd hit of the ball game for the Expos. That'll bring us back to the top of the order to Bridger Nesbitt, who led off the entire ball game with a walk. Nesbitt's first pitch misses low, 1-0. Sherbinski checks back to first, and Weedman's back safely. Ball and no strikes to count here to Nesbitt. Sherbinski takes his time looking at first from the stretch. Here comes a 1-0. Called strike. Count evens, 1-1. Fairly windy, but it is still red hot out there. 95 degrees. Here comes a 1-1. Called strike. And it's 1-2 now to Nesbitt. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Sherbinski still looking for that first strikeout in the start. No one out here in the top of the 3rd. Hardhats with an 8-0 lead. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball is hit to short. Bowman charges, gets the stop. He'll go for the easy out at first. And he got it. That'll be a 6-3 fielder's choice. That advances Weedman to scoring position. 1 down with a man on second. That'll bring us to Colton Hartford, the shortstop. Here's his first pitch. Missed low, 1-0. Sherbinski's 2 pitches away from 40. He hasn't looked bad. He's only walked 1. Here's a 1-0. And that misses low. Schmidt comes up with a block. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Hardhats with an 8-0 lead over the Expos. A man on second, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd, excuse me. 2-0. Called strike. 2-1. Colton Hartford on the ball game, 1 for 1 with a single. Here's a 2-1. Misses low. Schmidt another block, and it's 3 balls and a strike. And here, from Sherbinski is the 3-1. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left. Weaver underneath it. Flashes the glove. Makes the catch for out number 2. Staying on second, Jeremy Weedman. Blake Weaver comes up. Blake is the younger brother of Alex, who just made that catch and left. Weaver's 0 for 1 with the line out to right. And his first pitch is swung on, and it's hit just by the glove of Hegre, and it's stopped by the bare hand of Bowman. And everybody's going to advance a base. So Weaver will get the infield single, and Weedman will go to third. 2 outs, men on the corners. The Expos are threatening. And that is going to bring up Dave Julius, the left fielder. Sherbinski from the stretch takes a peek, and first pitch. Swung on, ball's hit to short. Bowman gets the stop on the hop, flings it to second, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on the base path. We have played 2.5 innings of baseball, and the Hardhats still have their 8-0 lead intact. We'll take a step aside, folks, and come right back with the bottom of the third. And the bottom man in the order, Mason Messenger, to lead off here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats are back to the sticks here in the bottom half of the third inning. Post 22, Hardhats lead 8-0 over the Post 22 Expos in an intra-squad showdown. And what a great opportunity this is for the Expos to really measure themselves up and the progress that they've made as young baseball players, playing against the varsity Hardhat squad. Mason Messenger back to the top of the order to Connor King and Matt Hegre. Here in the bottom half of the third, Hardhats with an 8-0 lead. Colton Tipton back on the mound in relief, and his first pitch to Messenger is outside for ball 1. Messenger walked and came around to score in the bottom half of the first, in what was a monstrous 8-run inning for Post 22 Hardhats. 1-0 pitch, buzzes the tower high and inside. It's 2-0. Tipton, full windup, 2-0 to Messenger. Pitch is swung on, ball's hit high in the air to shallow right. Elliott coming from second is underneath it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Nice play by Tyson Elliott. That'll bring us back to the top of the order to Connor King for the Hardhats. Hardhats have 8 runs on 3 hits and an error in the field. And the Expos out hitting the Hardhats, but they have no runs on 4 hits and the 1 blemish. Connor King, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. First pitch is, a hit by pitch, and his first pitch is inside for ball 1. So it was a fly out and a hit by pitch and a run scored. Here comes the 1-0. Breaking ball high and inside. It's 2-0. Colton Tipton, the righty in relief, deals a 2-0 to King. And that's too far inside again, 3-0. No one on the base path for the Hardhats with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. 3-0. 3-0 is the count to King. 8-0 is the Hardhats lead. Here's the 3-0. Too far inside, ball 4. So King walks. 1 out walk will now bring up Matt Hegre, who is 1 for 1 with a bases clearing RBI double. A walk also and a run scored. King leads off at first. First pitch. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left field. It has the legs. It has the distance. And it is off the wall. And rounding third and heading home is King. Rounding second, heading third is Hegre. An RBI triple with one out here in the bottom of the third. And the Hardhats lead is now 9-0. Cooper Bowman now comes up 0 for 1 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. His strikeout ended what was a monster bottom half of the first for his team. Bowman with Hegre 90 feet to his left. Infield is coming in. And first pitch. Called strike inside. 0-1. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball just fouled. Bowman was a tad bit too far in front of it. He was looking fastball and saw the curveball. No balls, 2 strikes to Bowman. Infield is in. As Colton Tipton gets set to deal the 0-2. Here it comes. Pitch is fouled off again. Another breaking ball inside, and the count will hold at 0-2. Earlier action in the Veterans Classic saw the NOCO Roughnecks take both of their games today. The Expos fell, and Taconite, Minnesota also lost, as the next pitch to Bowman is low for a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Hegre on third with an out here in the bottom of the third. 9-0 now is the Hardhats lead thanks to an RBI triple from Hegre. 1-2 pitch. Misses low and away. 2-2. And Hegre, by the way, that's his first triple of the season. Here comes the 2-2 to Bowman. Pitch is swung on. Ball's lined right up the middle for a base hit. Hegre's going to trot home, and Cooper Bowman will have his first hit of the day. An RBI single with one out here in the bottom of the third, and the Hardhats lead is now 10-0. That'll now bring us to Jack Sorensen with a man on first and 1 out. Sorensen's 1 for 2. RBI single, a run scored, and a fly out. Colton Tipton from the stretch, first pitch. Misses low. It's blocked by McGuire, but then he lost it in his footing. And Bowman will take off on the pass ball for second. 1-0 the count to Sorensen with the man in scoring position now. Here's a 1-0. And that's upstairs, 2-0. Jack Sorensen up with Cooper Bowman on second. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Hardhats have played at 2. It's now a 10-0 lead. 2-0 pitch. Swung on. Ball's lined in the air to center field. On the run. Unable to make the catch as Nesbitt. It goes over his head all the way to the wall. Rounding third. Heading home is Cooper Bowman. He's going to slow up. Coming into third with the RBI triple is Jack Sorensen. And it's now an 11-0 Hardhats lead with 1 out and a man 90 feet from home here in the bottom of the third. Jace Caldwell now comes up looking for his first hit. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. First pitch missed low, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. Missed low, 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Caldwell with a man on third and 1 out. And the next pitch is lined into left field, and that's going to drop for a fair ball and a base hit. It goes all the way to the corner. Caldwell rounds first. He is on his way to second with a 1 out RBI double knocking in Sorensen, and it's now a 12-0 Hardhats lead. with 1 out and a man on second here in the bottom of the third. And now a substitute as Holden Jackson will come in to bat for Zach Sumption. Jackson's first pitch gets away from McGuire behind home plate. And it'll allow Caldwell to take third. 1-0 the count here to Jackson. As Colton Tipton's going to have a quick word here with McGuire. Jackson batting .357 on the season, and he doesn't bat often. He's only swung the bat in a dozen games. He is 10 for 28, 8 singles, a double, and a triple. 4 runs knocked in, 7 runs scored. Here's his 1-0. That misses low and inside, 2-0. Two balls and no strikes to count. And Tipton's 2-0 pitch is upstairs, 3-0 to Jackson. Alex Weaver is in the on-deck circle. Full windup for Tipton, 3-0 pitch. Called strike, hit his belt, 3-1. Three balls and a strike to Jackson. And Tipton deals. Upstairs, ball 4. So a 1-out walk will put men on the corners. And that brings up Alex Weaver, and head coach of the Expos, Paul Poole, is going to come out and have a quick word with Colton Tipton. And it looks like Tipton's evening is going to come to an end. We're going to take a step aside, folks. We'll come right back with the newest pitcher for the Expos in just a few moments with the Hard Hats up 12-0. Men on the corners, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. We'll be right back on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Colton Tipton's evening has come to an end, and taking over will be Jeremy Weedman, the DH now turned relief pitcher. And the first man that he will take on is Alex Weaver. Weaver has men on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Post 22 has a 12-0 lead over the Expos. Intra-squad showdown to start off the Veterans Classic. Weaver steps in. Everybody takes their lead off their respective base. First pitch is upstairs. Ball 1 to Weaver. 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. And the 1-0 is chopped foul third base side, and now it's 1-1. I was just trying to predict the future there. 1-1 now to Weaver. Tipton went an inning into third. He allowed 4 earned runs on 4 hits, walked 4, didn't strike anybody out on 44 pitches. Ball and a strike to Weaver. Weedman looks at either corner. From the stretch, 1-1 pitch. Upstairs, 2-1. 2 balls and a strike. And Weedman delivers. High and inside, 3-1, excuse me. Three balls and a strike the count. Weedman's pitch is low, ball 4. It skips off of the catcher McGuire. But hanging on at third is Jace Caldwell. He does not take home. So Ryan Schmidt comes up now as Jackson moves to scoring position. Every base is occupied. And the Hardhats have officially batted through the lineup for a second inning in this game, and the first pitch skips away, and no one's going to take home or the extra base in front of them. So it's 1-0, base is still loaded, and the ball went into the dugout, so everybody's going to take one. And that will knock in Caldwell, and it'll move Jackson and Weaver to scoring position. 13-0 now the Hardhats lead. First base is unoccupied. Second and third are. 1-0 pitch is up high. 2-0 to Schmidt. Schmidt in the ballgame's 0 for 2. Reached on an error that knocked in 2 runs, and he came around to score. Then he grounded into a tag force to end the bottom of the second. His next pitch is low and away. It's 3-0 now. 3 balls, no strikes. And Weedman deals. Called strike at the knees of Schmidt. It's 3-1. Three balls and a strike. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled, and the count goes full to Schmidt. 3-2 to Schmidt with 1 out and men on second and third here in the bottom of the third. 13-0, the Hardhats have the lead over the Expos. And payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's hit right up the middle to second. Elliott gets the stop. He'll get the toss to first for the out, but a run scores on the sequence. So an RBI ground out for Ryan Schmidt will make the game 14-0 for the Hardhats. And advance Alex Weaver 90 feet from ending the ballgame prematurely. 2 down. We will now go to Mason Messenger, who led off the inning. Popped out to second. Messenger's first pitch is up high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to to Messenger. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch. Swung on, ball's hit right back up the middle. Weedman gets the stop. His throw to first is in time, and that'll be the final out. So the Hardhats played another 6 runs in the inning on 4 hits with no errors charged to the Expos and a man left on third base. We have played 3 innings of baseball. Post 22 has a 14-0 lead over the Expos. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the 4th here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Couple of changes for the Hardhats. Alex Weaver has moved over to center field. Todd Stevens is now in left. Holden Jackson is now in right. Mason Messenger has moved over to short, removing Cooper Bowman from the game. And Ryan Bachman is now at second. Tad Sherbinsky is still on the mound throughout that myriad of changes, and he deals a first pitch strike to Jake Goebel, leading off the top half of the fourth. Next pitch is swung on line by Matt Hegery at third and into left. And Jake Goebel is safe on first to start off the top half of the fourth. And that'll be an E5 on Hegery to allow Goebel to reach safely. Leadoff man is on. That's going to bring up Tyson Elliott, and he looks at a first pitch strike. 0-1 to Elliott, who's 1 for 1 with a hit in the ballgame. No balls in a strike to count. And the pitch. Misses low, 1-1. Ball and a strike to Elliott. Sherbinsky looks over to first at the runner. And here's a 1-1. And that misses inside, 2-1. 2-1 to Elliott with a man on first. That's Goebel with the leadoff error. No one out here in the top of the fourth. The Hardhats up 14-0. Sherbinsky checks to first, and Goebel's back safely. 14 runs, 7 hits, a pair of errors for the Hardhats, and for the Expos, it's no runs on 4 hits and an error in the field. 2-1 pitch. Misses low. It's 3-1 now from Sherbinsky. Three balls and a strike. And he deals. Called strike at his knees. It's a full count. Here comes the payoff, and it's just fouled. Schmidt was unable to hang on to it. Three balls and 2 strikes. Sherbinsky still looking for that first strikeout. And the payoff. Swung on, and the ball is chopped to short. Bowman the stop to second for 1, and that's all that he's got. That's actually Messenger at short. My apologies. Messenger the stop. So that'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice to allow Elliott to stay on the base path. And that will bring us to Thomas McGuire, who reached on an error his first at bat. And his first pitch is away. It gets away from Schmidt, and advancing to second, it's Elliott. So McGuire now has a man in scoring position to work with and a 1-0 count. All and no strikes. And Sherbinsky's pitch misses low. It's 2-0. Two and 0 count as Sherbinsky looks in to McGuire. Here's the 2-0. Called strike inside, and it's 2-1. Sherbinsky looks at second. 2-1 pitch is lined in left field. Weaver's there, and he makes the catch for out number 2. 2 outs with a man on second. And Braden Burris now comes up. Burris grounded into an inning-ending fielder's choice in the top of the second. He's 0 for 1. First pitch. Swung on. Ball's chopped to the left side of the infield, and it goes all the way in the left for a base hit. Weaver gets the cutoff into Hegre. And it'll be a 2-out single for Burris, his first hit of the ball game. And that'll keep the inning going and bring us to Jeremy Weedman, the DH turned pitcher. Weedman 1 for 1, singled in the top half of the third. Sherbinsky looks at the corners. First pitch. This is low and away. It's 1-0. Weedman with men 90 feet to his left and right. Burris on first. And Elliott on third. 1-0 pitch is high and inside. 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. And Trubisky deals. Swung on and missed. 2-1. Two balls and a strike now to Weedman. Men on the corners, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Hardhats up 14-0. 2-1. Misses low, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Balls, 1 strike. Sherbinsky deals. Pitch is swung on. It's lined in left field. It's going to drop for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in and score, and the Hardhats shutout is no more. A 2-out RBI single for Jeremy Weedman, and the Hardhats lead is now 14-1 with 2 outs and men on first and second here in the top of the fourth. Back to the top of the order we go now to Ridger Nesbitt. And his first pitch misses low for ball 1. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Called strike. 1-1 now to Nesbitt. Nesbitt is 0 for 1 with a walk and a fielder's choice. Sherbinsky looks to second. 1-1 pitch. And it's fouled to the backstop, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Swung on, and the ball is pushed into right field, and it drops in front of Jackson for a base hit. Jackson throws it right in to Jack Sorensen and limits the damage to another 2-out single. Back-to-back-to-back 2-out hits. And that loads up the bases and will bring us to Colton Hartford. Two outs here in the top of the fourth. Quick conference between Sherbinsky and Schmidt. Hartford is 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to left. First pitch is swung on, hit right back up the middle. Sherbinsky the stop, tossed to first, and he'll get the easy out. Well, the Hardhats shutout is no more. It's a run on 3 hits, an error charge to the Hardhats, and the base is left loaded. We've played exactly half the ball game, and the Hardhats leads now 14-1. We'll be right back with the bottom of the fourth here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hard Hats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22 is 2 runs away from ending this game early. They score a pair, and they will take a 16-1 win over the Expos. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. As the Hard Hats and the Expos are squaring off in intra-squad action, with the Hard Hats playing in their first game of the Veterans Classic. The NoCo Roughnecks won both of their games today, so they're in the driver's seat in the standings with a 2-0 record. The Expos and Taconite, Minnesota are 0-1, and the Billings Royals also have yet to play. So the Hard Hats, the second to last team to get a game under their belts. We will start off at the top of the order for the Hard Hats, and it looks like Drew Messer is going to bat in the spot of Connor King. And he looks at a first pitch ball. 1-0, leading off the bottom half of the fourth. And Messer's next pitch is high and away, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes to Messer. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball's lined in the air to left, and it's into the glove of Dave Julius. And that'll be out number 1 on the L7. That's going to bring up Matt Hegre, who is 2 for 2 with 4 ribbies on the day, a double, a triple, a walk, and a run scored. 2 runs scored. First pitch is high and away for ball 1. And here is his 1-0. Pitch is swung on, lined into left field, and that'll drop in front of Julius for a base hit. So Hegre, 3 for 3. He's a home run away from the cycle. This single comes with 1 out, and that'll bring up Ryan Bachman, who stepped in at second base and will slot in for Cooper Bowman. Bachman on the season batting .667. He's 2 for 3 on the year with a single and a double. And his first pitch is a called strike on a fastball from Weedman. It's 0-1. 14-1's the Hard Hats lead. If Weedman hits a home run, the game ends right on the spot. Here's the 0-1. My apologies, that's Bachman if he hits the home run. Whedon's pitching. It's 1-1 now as the pitch is upstairs. Bachman hits a home run, the ball game's over. 14-1 is the Hard Hats lead with an out and a man on first here in the bottom of the fourth. 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Bachman slotted into the spot for Cooper Bowman, who went 1 for 2 with an RBI single, a walk, 2 runs scored, and a strikeout. 1-2 to Bachman. Pitch is swung on, and it's hit to third. Stop is made on the bounce, and then it skips by both the third baseman and the shortstop, Burris and Hartford. And everyone's safe. The ball was batted down, but I believe that's going to be an E5. That'll allow Hegre to go into scoring position. First and second, 1 out. Jack Sorensen comes up. Sorensen's hit a home run. He hits one right here, or he knocks 2 runs in. The game's over. Weedman looks to first and now second. First pitch to Sorensen. Low and away, and it skips to the backstop, and everybody's going to hang tight. 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count to Sorensen, who is 2 for 3, an RBI double, an RBI triple, pair of runs scored. Next pitch misses outside. It's 2-0 now to Sorensen. 2-0 to Sorensen. Pitch is swung on. Ball is hit to short. Hartford's there to second for one, to first for two, and the throw is not there. It took the first baseman off the bag. So it'll be men on the corners on the 6-4 fielder's choice. 2 outs. Bachman out. Hegre to third. And Dylan Ritchie is going to come in place of Jace Caldwell. Ritchie playing some unbelievable baseball at the plate. He's 8 for 13 on the year, batting .615. First pitch, upstairs, ball one. 1-0 to Ritchie, who has men 90 feet to his left and right. And the 1-0 pitch, upstairs, 2-0. Sorensen on first, Hegre on third. 14-1, the Hardhats lead with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Weedman from the stretch. And the 2-0 to Ritchie misses low. It's ball 3. 3-0. And the 3-0 is up high. No, it's called strike. 3-1. 3-1 comes to Ritchie. And that's upstairs for ball 4. 2-out walk to Ritchie will now load the bases up. And that'll bring up Holden Jackson. Jackson can end it with a base hit. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And Jackson's first pitch is high and inside, ball 1. Jackson walked in his first plate appearance and came around to score. And the 1-0. Pitch is hit high in the air, foul. It's going to land in front of our press box. And the count will even up at a ball and a strike. 1-1 the count to Jackson. Batting .357 coming into this matchup. 1-1 pitch. Called strike. And that's 1-2. Weedman full windup. 1-2 to Jackson. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that'll end it. Well, the Hardhats are 3 outs away in the top of the 5th from ending the ball game early. They get no runs on a hit with an error charge to the Expos. Bases left loaded. We have played 4 innings of baseball. Hardhats 3 outs away from the win. Up 14-1 here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22, 3 outs away, with Ted Sherbinsky back on the mound, taking their first win of the Veterans Classic, and it would come at the expense of the program's own and the Expos. Numbers across the board through 4 innings for the Hardhats. It's 14 runs on 8 hits with a pair of errors, and for the Expos, it's a run on 7 hits with a pair of errors as well. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. It'll be Blake Weaver, Dave Julius, and Jake Goebel slated to hit for the Expos, barring any substitutions here in the top of the 5th inning. 14-1 is the Hardhats lead. And the first pitch. Swung on, ball's lined to short. Messenger's there for the easy grab. One pitch, one man up, one man down, brings us to Dave Julius. Julius in the ball game is 0 for 2. Grounded into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. And ended the inning on a fielder's choice ground out, and he looks at strike one. 0-1 to the Expos left fielder. 0-1 from Sherbinsky. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left field. That ball has some legs. It has the distance, and that ball is off the wall, and it comes all the way to center field. In from left is Stevens to field it. And safe with a triple is Julius. What a well-hit ball that was. Just inches away from a home run. That'll bring us to Jake Goebel with a man on third and one out. Here in the top of the fifth. First pitch. Missed for ball one. 1-0. Goebel's 0 for 2 with a ground out to short, and he reached on an error. Looking for his first hit in this intra-squad showdown. And the 0-1 misses low and away, and it's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. Sherbinsky deals. Swung on and missed. 2-1. Sherbinsky from the stretch looks to Julius at third. And the 2-1 misses low and away. That's ball three. Sherbinsky about to deal a 75th pitch of the start. Here in the top of the fifth. And the 3-1. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air, but foul and out of play. And the count goes full now to Goebel. 3 balls, 2 strikes. To Jake Goebel with the man on third and one out. Top of the fifth, the Hardhats up a baker's dozen. Payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's lined right up the middle and into center for a base hit. And it gets by the center fielder, goes all the way to the wall. Goebel's going to round first and head to second with an RBI double. And the Expos have cut the deficit to 14-2 with an out and a man on second here at the top of the fifth. Tyson Elliott comes up now, the man on second. He is 1 for 2. Reached out a fielder's choice. Came around to score and he singled. He looks at ball one low and away. 1-0 the count to Elliott with a man on second. And first pitch, or next pitch, excuse me, is lined over the head of Bachman at second and into right. Jackson fields it, rounding third, heading home is Goebel. And on the RBI single, Tyson Elliott makes it 14-3. With still an out and a man on first here in the top of the fifth. Ryan Clappridge coming out to have a quick word with everybody in the infield. And with Ted Sherbinsky as well. Double play ends the ball game here for the Hardhats. And then we'll do a quick sign-off in lieu of a post-game show with this being an intra-squad matchup. Post 22 has smacked the ball and taken advantage of free base runners in this ball game twice. They batted through the order in the first and in the third. First pitch misses low to Thomas McGuire. It's 1-0. Elliott off of first. One out, a man on first here in the top of the fifth. The Hardhats now up 11. Here's the 1-0. Pitch is swung on, lined up the middle and into center for a base hit. And taking off a third is Elliott, and he's safe. And taking off for second on the throw after hitting a single was McGuire. Men on second and third now for the Expos, still with an out. And that's going to bring us to Braden Burris, the third baseman. Sherbinsky, 81st pitch, and it's fouled by Burris. 0-1. 2 men in scoring position here for Burris. Burris batting .444 when runners are on second and third. Next pitch swung on, ball's hit high in the air to right. Jackson is running for it. It's over his head, and it goes all the way to the wall, and 2 runs are going to score. Burris is into second with an RBI double with 1 out, and now it's 14-5 Hardhats. So now Jeremy Weedman, the pitcher, comes up. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI single. First pitch from Sherbinsky, over his head, ball 1. Ball and no strikes the count. Sherbinsky looks to second. 1-0 pitch, a swung on, ball's hit very high in the air, shallow left. And the catch is off the glove of Todd Stevens. And everybody is going to advance a base. Weedman, a 2-base error on Todd Stevens. And Burris will go to third. Second and third again, and that's going to bring up Bridger Nesbitt. Back at the top of the order. Nesbitt 1 for 2 with a walk and a single. And his first pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left. Shallow left. And coming in to make the catch is Stevens, and everybody's going to hang tight. And there's a key second out for the Hardhats. 2 down. They've batted through the order, have the Expos. Here comes Colton Hartford, the potential final out of the ballgame. The Hardhats are up 9. Hartford's 1 for 3. He has singled already in this game. Sherbinsky, first pitch, swung on, ball is hit to third. Stops made by Hegre. Hegre throw to first is in time, and that's going to end it. And the Hardhats take the win 14-5 in Game 1 of the Veterans Classic. 4 runs plated by the Expos. They made a heck of a run at it towards the end. But the Hardhats take the 14-5 victory. The Hardhats, 14 runs on 8 hits with 3 errors in the field. And for the Expos, it was 5 runs on 12 hits with a pair of errors on defense. So that does it for Game 1 for the Hardhats, folks. They are one of only 2 undefeated teams now in the tournament. The NOCO Roughnecks are in the driver's seat at 2-0. The Hardhats 1-0 in the tournament. Taconite is 0-1, and the Expos go to 0-2. The Billings Royals still have yet to play, and they will take on the Hardhats tomorrow night in the nightcap at 7 o'clock. Folks, in lieu of a post-game show, we're going to do a quick sign-off here. A nice intra-squad showdown, and it was great to see both of these programs come together and really test themselves against each other. You saw a lot of fight from the Expos, especially at the end of the ball game, and a lot of promise early on before the Hardhats started to really assert themselves on offense. But that can only speak to a very bright future for this Post-22 program once the Hardhats graduate and move on, and these Expos move up to wear those fabled Hardhats. Folks, this was a fun one tonight. Final score, 14-5. The Hardhats took the win over the Post-22 Expos. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the nightcap against the Billings Royals, a highly, highly anticipated rematch. Thanks so much, everyone. So long, and good night.